Really, I really loved it. And I'm gonna put it over again. I really enjoyed watching What the Health documentary. It was almost like I felt like I was a part of it, because it was all these things that I've been talking about in my interviews, and it's nice to see that there's a film out there and that people have gone and actually continue doing the research and find the statistics and asking the hard questions. But when you realize, and I encourage everybody to go watch this, and you realize the level of corruptness that our corporations have within our government agencies here in the United States, the very people who are supposed to be protecting us and making us healthy are the very ones who are just driving it all for profit, and it's pretty sad. But at the end of the day, people all have a choice, and every time you open up your pocketbook and you put something in your grocery cart and you check out, you're voting for what you support. And
sure.
Going back to my lifestyle, you talk about the spiritual aspect. There's something nice for me to sit down and eat a meal, sustain my life, knowing I didn't have to take another to do it. And
absolutely.
There's something cool about that. And if you're anyone who kind of is anti-establishment or anti-government, then understand that the food you put in your body is the one place that they've got kind of everybody right now by the balls, I like to say, and people don't realize it. So stand up for yourself and make better choices.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's interesting that you say that the people that should be educating us are failing in that, and the job of educating.
That's because I don't make money on pharmaceuticals, and I don't make money on sick people.
Sure.
Healthy people are terrible customers. It's hard to make money on healthy people, and if I tell people they can be healthy not by taking my magic pills,
sure,
but by just eating the correct foods, which, mind you, aren't any of the foods that our largest manufacturers are producing. I mean, it's absurd.
But you
Sure.
you are somebody who's in a sport which is very aggressive, very flamboyant. There's a lot of confrontation in your sport, and I think that's a big part of the appeal to a lot of people. And
right.
You're a vegetarian, and that's perhaps got a stereotype which is the polar opposite. Is
Sure.
that something that conflicts at all?
No, not really. I mean, if anything, I think that's one thing that's allowed me to be a little more of a voice in the vegan and plant-based community, because I do go against those stereotypes. You don't think of, but the thing is that as we're finding out there's more and more high-level athletes, and David Carter, former NFL lineman, guys, 300 plus pounds. I mean, we've got his name's escaping me, but a plant-based championship arm wrestler,
Rob Bigwood.
Yes, some UFC guys, and more people. So the stereotypes starting to disappear, because and I like to think people like myself and others like me are coming out and saying, no, you can be a championship anything. You can be hockey players,
yes,
triathletes. Well, and one cool point that they made last night and in this documentary, What the Health, was that really at the end of the day, all your proteins come from plant protein anyway, right?
Yeah.
You're eating plants. Even if you eat the animal was eating plants, or it used to be, unless you're feeding them the other animals now, which sometimes is what they're doing.
Which does happen, yeah.
Yeah, which does happen. But some of your largest and strongest animals on Earth are herbivores.
Yeah.
The elephant didn't look like where's he getting this protein from? He must be eating a lot of peanuts.
Yes, gorillas, silverbacks.
Yeah. But I feel my sense of responsibility now is to use the platform I do have, through getting to do something as crazy and cool as sports entertainment, and having this huge platform and influence to a lot of younger kids out there, is that my responsibility isn't so much when I'm in the ring, but it's doing stuff like this, because if I can plant a couple of seeds for some young kids, kind of like seeds were planted for me, and those end up kind of coming to bloom, and we have more people who are more consciously aware of dietary choice and what's around them, then I feel like that I'm using my platform for good. The entertainment aspect's awesome, and creating those moments and the memories that the families go and share at the arena. But to me, like this message is just important for me to use my platform for.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, that's excellent. So, what have you? I don't think many people can really identify with your job. I mean, what are the physical demands? What do you need physically?
Oh, man. If I can be honest, I think this is like one of the biggest misnomers, but professional wrestlers or sports entertainers, I honestly feel is one of the most demanding jobs there is from a physical and a mental standpoint. And I think we really laud all of our great actors and actresses out there who make these amazing movies.
Yeah.
And we really put them on the pedestal for being great entertainers that they are. And I look at the high level sports entertainers in WWE and professional wrestling as a whole, and they stack up in every sense of the word. What we do, we go out there and we're on the road probably about 5 nights a week. We perform live events, then we go to television, we do TV, we do pay-per-views once a month.
Right.
And again, and I don't like to compare because it's not apples and oranges, but in a lot of other sports, you might have a boxing match or a UFC fight. You might do that a couple times a year. Basketball teams, you play your football, you play once a week. Basketball, you might have a couple games a week. We do this 5 nights straight.
Yeah.
And it's very demanding.
Sure.
I say sports entertainment's the most real form of entertainment there is. We go out there live, one take. We've got no stunt doubles. We don't get do-overs. We don't have any nets. We don't have any protective gear on, because I've done stunt work in commercials and stuff like that. And it's a completely different game. So it's not some cushy mattress in there, and you don't fake gravity. So it's and then that's just the aspect of that. But the other aspect is the travel. And this is where the food part comes in. We're constantly in airplanes. We're constantly, rental cars and hotels. We spend probably a third of our life just traveling, right? And so being in those seats and driving in that position takes a wear and tear on the body as well. But then also, can make it difficult to sustain a healthy eating lifestyle, right? Like being on the road that much, especially late at night. It's midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes. And realization is whether you're plant-based or not, your options for eating when you're on the road are really bad. So
the
other part is just really being prepared, and really all the superstars, men and women, no matter kind of what type of diet they follow, we all seem to be kind of on top of it, prepared in our own way, having coolers and making sure we've got our own meals with us when we need to, and things like that.
Yeah. How do you train? How do you train if you're competing and performing all the time? That's you find time. You get in the town and you check in your hotel and you go get a workout in, and then you go to the venue and you go wrestle, and then you drive to the next town and you get some sleep and you get up. Right.
And you find the gym and you work out, and then you go to the venue and you wrestle, and then you drive to the next town. It's literally the lifestyle. And,
wow.
I'll be honest, like it for me, like the WWE style and pace, their travel schedule, it moves fast, and you got to be on top of it. So there's a little bit of adjustment period of figuring out exactly how to schedule all that to make sure you can stay on top of all those things. A lot of times you're having to work around your injuries. You're never 100%, so you're just trying to work around, whatever kind of bumps and bruises you have.
It sounds as if you have to be 100%. If you're 99%, you're in trouble. How important the food going to be in that?
Well, I would actually argue that no one's ever 100%. Like we're all banged up to some degree, it's just kind of, but it's like football players, right? Or I'm sure over there soccer.
Yeah.
In season, no one's 100%. Thing is, we don't have an off season, so we're never 100%. But that's why it's so important that we do the things as far as taking care of our body, making sure we're getting massages, we're getting chiropractic work, we're eating right. And for me, I really think that I've been doing this 17 years. And I feel pretty good, all things considered, for the number of years I've been doing this. And I really think part of it is, again, my diet as a plant-based diet is very low as far as inflammatory levels.
Sure.
So I'm beating my body up, which is naturally going to inflame my body, but my diet's not doing that. If anything, I say every time you eat, you're either you're feeding or you're fighting disease and sickness every time you eat. And I like to think that, for the last 17 years, to various degrees, I've been helping fight it and not feed those diseases and ailments.
Yes. It sounds like a brutal lifestyle, but you do love it, right?
You have to. If you don't love it, it weeds you out pretty quick. It's not an easy one, but if you love it, it's very rewarding.
Sure, yeah.
Daniel Bryan, I'm sure a lot of people are aware what was vegan and is really, he's mostly vegan. He's at some points, whatever, if he has to make some concessions, he does, but he lives a very conscious lifestyle that way.
Okay, yeah.
And you know what? More and more people I'm seeing are open to it and are adopting it to different various levels and degrees.
I see. That's terrific. It's I was going to mention Bryan Danielson, because you worked with him. You were in a tag team with him was it about 2008?
Yeah, we had some pretty crazy battles. We actually wrestled one time 76 minutes.
Oh, wow.
2 out of 3 falls, and then we also did do some tag team work as well.
Yeah, wow.
It's always a pleasure being in the ring with them on either side of it. Yep.
Excellent. So at that point you were vegetarian. He was eating meat. Was he at that stage?
I'm not. I don't think he had transitioned that early on. When by that point, I think that came a little later. But yeah, he definitely. I definitely remember like having some conversations about it, with him and some other guys in the locker room at the time. And again, I think, listen, we're all high level athletes, so we're always interested in what other guys are doing and to get an advantage and to feel better and stay healthy. So, and it definitely worked for him. And obviously, it's something he's adopted, to a pretty strong degree at this point now.